everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back inside the office. We're gonna head on over to the keep inside of things. The catch inside has not been so great lately. I've been out twice in the last week. I caught one fish. Was down in Florida, went into the Everglades. I hopped a lot of different spots, a lot of really fishy looking water, saw a few mullet, a couple of gar, but wasn't able to get anything to bite. No fish on that trip. And then I brought it back up here, was out yesterday, and I fished for 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and I caught one smallmouth. And I wasn't even rolling for it, so I didn't even get it on footage for you, or didn't even get it on video for you guys. I apologize, but it is what it is, and it wasn't that great of a day of fishing all the way around. So I thought I would jump in here. As you can see, my boys are looking a little green in there. So we've got to do a little tank maintenance. So I thought I would take you through my system of how I do tank maintenance on a 55-gallon tank with no 5-gallon buckets. As you can imagine, if you were to empty, do a water change and have to use 5-gallon bucket after 5-gallon bucket, would not go well. So I have another system that I've come up with. I do have a bathroom right on the outside of my office here, so you guys will see how I use that to get water in and out of the tank, or out then in the tank. So let me get this quarter zip off. Let's hop into this tank, get it cleaned up for these guys. I'll walk you through the whole process, everything I use, as well as the chemicals and everything throughout the whole process. Stick with me, let's get this cleaned up. All right guys, first and foremost, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop into my cleaning kit here. I'm gonna use one of these glass cleaners, and I'm gonna go around and clean the glass all over the tank. That way we get anything off before we start sucking the water out. That way anything that might float into the water won't do it afterwards. It'll do it when we're about to suck it out. So here we go. This is the only thing I use a 5-gallon bucket for when I am doing my cleaning, and that's just to hold stuff. All right, now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off the filter in the heater, because as we draw the water level down, we don't want the filter motor to go dry. So you have to always have that submerged. So we're just gonna go ahead and turn that off, because it doesn't take long to get down to the level below where it needs to. And then the heater, same thing. You can't leave that tube exposed. You're just asking for trouble if you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug those two things, and then we're going to get into the water change now that the glass is nice and clear. Now, the thing with the water change, we want to make sure we are not disturbing any of the decor other than maybe a little bit of the substrate, because the beneficial bacteria does not live in your water. It lives on your things. It lives on your surfaces. So we just cleaned the glass so that we got rid of some beneficial bacteria. It lives on your decor, on your plants, on your fake rocks and stuff like that. That's where the beneficial bacteria lives, and on the bottom. So we do need to vacuum a little bit of the bottom to get some of the fish poop up and out of there. So that we have to disturb, but the rest we don't. Now, we're going to add in beneficial bacteria back at the end of the process once we're filling it back up, but let's get started. Okay. Now, I use a siphon, and I have a 40-gallon bin that we're going to be emptying the water into. So that's how I get away with no bucket. Now, what do we do with that after we're done? You're going to see here in just a minute. We're going to hook up a pond pump, and a hose into the bathtub. But let's get started. Okay, siphon. get the siphon process started here. And there we go. All right, guys, here's what we've got. Ryan just plugged the pump in. We're gonna drop it down in there. Okay, so what we use is we use the siphon to take the water out into this 40-gallon tub, which would contain most of the water from a 55-gallon. Then what we have is a little pond pump, a Tetra pond pump hooked up to a 3/4 inch clear hose, and then we run that into the bathroom, and we have it right here in the tub, all the water going down the drain. Okay, so we have a good little system going there, have the clamp to hold it in place, and then what we do is we do it in reverse, going the other way. So let's finish vacuuming this gravel. The next thing we're going to do, guys, is clean this filter. So this is a Seachem Seache Tidal 55. So this basket will just lift right out of here. Take this, we'll rinse it in the tank water real quick. And that's regular. This is the carbon. Just gonna rinse that in the tank water real quick. Okay, that's gonna go back in. Now we're gonna replace this, which is the polyfill. So this will get replaced and we'll be in good shape. All right, a new handful of polyfill going down in the filter. And then carbon, spread that out. And then the biological media right there on top. And the nice thing about this particular filter, the Tidal 55, is the lid is a nice tray to carry stuff, so you don't have to drip it all over your floor. While we're down at this level, I'm going to go ahead and add Seachem's Stress Guard, just to keep the fish's anxiety a little under check here. They're used to this, but I'm gonna still do it anyway, just to be safe. All right, now what I have is I have the shower head on that hose down in the 40-gallon tote, filling that back up. And when that gets full enough, we'll start taking the pump and pumping it back through the same hose into the tank. All right, guys, another really important thing is to make sure that the water that you're putting back in the tank is very close to the water temperature you took out of the tank. So to do that, I went to Target. I got myself a digital thermometer. So I had it at about 79.7 degrees. Let's see where we're at here. We are at 76.3. So we need to raise the temperature a little bit. So we'll warm it up. And we'll come back and check in a few minutes and see where we're at. $79.3, that's a good, so we're gonna leave it right there. That's a good temperature. We're gonna let this fill up some more because the pond pump is faster than what's filling it. So we're gonna let that fill up just a bit more and then we'll start pumping it back. All right, it's time to hook this hose back up. So what I do is I take the pond pump, hook this up here, drop it in the bottom, take the other end over here to the tank, take the other end over here to the tank. I use the same thing, same clamp, and clamp it down. That's pretty secure. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna lose. There we go. There we go. Now, we're gonna come back in here. Plug it in. And away it goes. Mm-hmm. Thing I do is we clean the inside of the glass. Now we got to clean the outside. So I use Windex because I haven't gotten any of the fancy Fritz stuff yet, but I spray it completely away from the tank on here. That way I don't have to worry about overspray. And then we head on out. We wipe it down. All right, guys, and there you have it. A nice clean tank. Everything from start to finish. A no bucket 55-gallon water change. Well, it wasn't actually 55 gallons, but 80% water change on the 55 with 0 buckets. Now, as you can see, I do have a bunch of little micro bubbles all over the glass. That is just because the water that I put in is much different temperature than the glass itself. As you can see down here where I had the water, there are no micro bubbles, but as the heater gets to work, they'll go away and bust all on their own. If you don't want to wait that long, you can always use one of those glass cleaners on the inside, and those will go away too. So if you enjoyed following along with me today, give me a big thumbs up, drop me a comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully we can get out and do some good catching here soon. March is on the way, and you know what that groundhog said, it's going to be an early spring. So let's hope the big smallies and the lots of fish in our future here, not only catching, but keeping and catching. Maybe we'll do a catch and cook on one of those walleyes, hopefully sometime soon. So catch you next time.